Hello, May Flaum here. Today I'm going to share a tutorial for you, and we're going to be making a tote. This would be great for a bride-to-be, for Mother's Day, really for any special occasion, and great way to send your love and pack it full of goodies. To start off with, we're using the type converter tool on the computer. Pick whatever font you would like, save it to a USB, and then you'll be able to pull that font, whatever it might be, over onto your ScanNCut and use that preview feature so you can see what your font's going to look like in cut file form. Here you can see I've got all of my stuff here. I've got my tote bag, which I have measured, and I have also sketched it out so that I could get an idea for what I'm thinking this is going to look like. And it will change from the original sketch, but it's a helpful start. And then I realized it would be easiest to draw my own leaves and stems, so I went ahead and did that. And again, there's my USB drive so we can get started pulling off our files. And I am going to start with that bloom file, and I'm going to want to pull it off and unify it, which we're going to do now that our mat is on. But before I get ahead of myself here, we're going to go and start by scanning in our file. I like to get everything scanned in, if anything's going to be scanned in, before I get started when working on a vinyl project, because we can actually set up and cut all of our vinyl at once for this project. So once this is scanned in, and we did scan to create a file there, and we're going to zoom way in so that we just have our three little stems, which turned out beautifully, and we have just the outlines on them. Once we have these on here, we're going to just go ahead and save them to the machine, and then we can go ahead and start collecting all of our files. Now, I like to pull all the files in for something like this for two reasons. Number one, you can really get a handle on what you're creating with, and you can look at things relative to other things size-wise. How does it look? How does it feel? Does it look good? Now, what I'm doing right here is selecting all of the bloom letters and unifying them so that they can be moved around together as one piece, just because that's going to make things a whole lot easier. Then what I'm going to go in and do is select any of the cut files that I wish to use, such as this flower, and I'm going to size it and put however many I would like. And I can always add more, but I just want to go ahead and get some in there. And once I'm getting some things, you can see I've added my little stems. I've added some hearts of different sizes. Things are starting to come together here on the ScanNCut. And once you have pulled everything in here and you have what you want, that's when you can start moving things around. Now, I am just here demonstrating how I think I might want some more small hearts, so let's pull more small hearts in. If I want to move things around, I certainly can move things all around and get going there. With some more room made available, I'm going to pull in my border piece, and I've selected this one just because I think it'll be really pretty with the bloom theme and the flowers. I'm going to size it down. I know that around 9.5, a little under 10, that's what I want this to be, because that's going to be the ideal height. So I'm just going to size it as is appropriate and once again add it. Now, once I have all of the different pieces that I think I'm going to want to use, I can go ahead and move things around, add things, etc., based on the colors that I want to use. So I would want to put all the darker purple things in one area, the lighter purple things in another, and so on, as you can see here. Once I have everything there, and once I have my vinyl cut, so I like to put everything like that on the mat, then cut the vinyl, because it will show me about how many square inches I need of every color of vinyl. And in this case, everything easily fits on the mat, as you'll see here. Scan the mat in with the vinyl all on there with the transfer sheet side down. And I can see if there's any adjustments to be made, if there's anything to be moved around. And if there is, great, go ahead and move anything around that needs moving around. You also want to make sure that your words were flipped. You don't want your words to be right side up when you cut them on heat transfer vinyl, and cut on half cut. Let that auto blade do its job. Let it go. I know this one took about 12 minutes to cut. And then once it is all done, you are going to want to weed, which I'm doing here in a faster speed than normal. And just take your time. I know we're going fast here for demonstration purposes, but take your time on that vinyl and really make sure that everything gets off nicely, that you don't accidentally tear anything. And once you have everything pulled apart, you'll also want to separate your pieces for ironing, which really gets fun. So I've got here everything kind of laid out, and you'll notice little teeny tiny words over the bloom. I actually opted to leave these out. They weren't looking quite right, so they're in that little image, but you won't see them again. They're gonna come on out of there. But I like to layer things on and then go all the way back down to what are my base layers, what are the first pieces to go down, and in this case it's the stems and the bloom, and we're going to continue to repeat this process of set things down on the transfer sheet like that, and then you're going to put some cloth over, and then you're going to press and iron until transferred, and then once it transfers you can then add the next layer, and you just want to make sure that there is no transfer material between your vinyl and the fabric you're trying to get it to adhere itself to. And sometimes it takes a few more tries. It just kind of depends on the material. Here we go. Getting that one. That one has a little sticky spot, so I stopped because I can always go back. And that one, you see the little end there popped up, and that's fine. Don't worry about that. If that happens, you can always go back and repress and go again. And here you see I'm adding in little flowers, or excuse me, little hearts onto my flowers. And I've got my side designs, which I think look so pretty. And I'm just adding some more little details, as much or as little as you want. There really isn't going to be a wrong answer here. It's really going to depend on what do you like, what works well for you. Go ahead and go with that, because really this is going to be a really fun, beautiful tote for a gift, and I'm going to fill it up with fun stuff for someone special. So then they're going to be able to use and reuse that tote bag, which I think is just absolutely great. So if you would like to, if you have some fabric glue or you want to sew on buttons or sequins or other things, that would be a really fun addition and add a little bit of dimension to this project. Totally optional though. It kind of depends on what you like or what you feel like doing. Here you can see my finished tote with a couple of little button accents that I used fabric glue to adhere on there. I hope I've inspired you to spice up a reusable tote as your next gift bag. I'll see you next time.